Hi everyone, I welcome you all to our tech podcast series. And today we are back with our amazing podcast. Today, I am Savi, your podcaster of the day, coming up with amazing and interesting podcast. Now you would be thinking, what's coming today? Now today we would be talking about the technology part. We would be talking about what's actually happening with tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So for that, we have a very special guest with us. We have Raghav Gupta with us, who is currently the co-founder and CEO at Futurense Technologies. With that note, I welcome you, Raghav, to our today's podcast. How are you doing?
Hi, Chavi. I'm doing good. Thank you so much for this invitation.
That's great. So before starting up with anything, I would be very happy to know that how you started your journey with Futurense Technology and what does your company do?
So, Chavi, I was interning in a investment bank where my job was to talk to a lot of CXOs, entrepreneurs, and one thing became very apparent that there was a shortage of the right tech talent in this country. Right? People had jobs, but not the right people to fill those jobs. And parallelly, we used to read that India has 1 million, 1.5 million engineers graduating every year. So it was obvious there was some gap there. So the initial thought was, let's start a training company to fill that gap. But as we got deeper into the problem, we realized the real problem is not the skill gap, but the financial gap. That means that the real talent of this country needs someone to invest in them rather than charge them money. So that's how we came into being. So what we do at Futurense, for your understanding, Chavi, is we hire people from tier 2, tier 3 towns, not on the basis of what they know, but what they can know. So we have done our own kind of assessments in which we look at their current job. We don't judge them that this is their potential. We just look at that this is the starting point, that they have potential to learn. Then we hire them, we fly them to Bangalore, where we train them free of cost for 2 months while we pay them salaries. Now, the best part is while we are paying them salaries, while we are giving them free training, we also give them free accommodation and free food. And once the training is done, we have our Fortune 500 client partners who are looking to get the right talent, who we were in touch with before. Our trainings were matching to what they wanted. And now they interview the person and onboard that person as a contractual worker.
That's actually fabulous and interesting at the same time. That's a very good idea. So, before stepping up outside this thing, I would love to know that how you manage everything because there's a lot of procedures that are involved. So, in the initial phase, wasn't it difficult for you to just align all the procedures?
I think in the beginning, I wouldn't say the word difficult. It was something where we were brainstorming a lot, right? Because we didn't know what is the right answer. All we knew was we cannot charge the person any money and we need to pay that person while we are training them because they have bills to pay. So that was the statement that we were working towards. And obviously, we have a very dedicated team, a very young team, a very experienced leadership that is constantly working to churn this into a truly world class product that not just helps Fortune 500 companies with the right talent, but also helps the real talent from small towns to achieve their true potential and in turn make our country the world's best front office, right? Currently, it is the world's best back office. The only way we can make the country the world's best front office is by empowering the talent of this country with the front end skills without charging them money.
That's actually nice and amazing at the same time. So, while understanding and while working with these talent pools, there's one thing which is coming in my mind that there's always a need, right, to
Ji.
provide these trainings to the tier 2 and the tier 3 cities. So, how are you tapping those to understand more of it?
Sure. So what we realize is that people who are in these small towns, In the last 5 6 years, they got amazing access to internet. They got amazing access to internet because of Reliance Jio, right? And now they are very well aware of what is happening around the world. So even though they are from a small town, their mentality is not what you would expect of a typical small town person would be. They're very, very new age. They are as smart as you and I from top towns, but the opportunities are not there with them because they did not go to the best school, they did not go to the best college. The people in their family were not working in MNCs. The relatives were, they did not have the right environment. But that doesn't mean that these people are not the right fit to build their own environment. So what we realize is when you are training them, it has to be two steps forward, but at the same time, you need to take a step back, right? You need to first make them unlearn a couple of things, then train them on new age things. At the same time, they require a lot of behavioral, lot of soft skill training because these guys sometimes don't know how to present themselves. They're amazing, they're extremely smart, extremely hardworking, but when it comes to presenting or articulating what they're doing, we see a mismatch. So yeah, overall, it's a holistic development that we need to do for them.
That was so true, and also I really like the way you are focusing on the presentation skills as well, because this is the one thing that no one actually works on. They think that okay, just providing the training and the knowledge is just enough, but no, I totally agree with that point because sometimes there is criticism. So,
Right.
any story that you want to share about the
Right.
same?
So I'll just give you an example, right? So we had this guy. He came. His dad was driving an auto rickshaw, right? He was from Ambala. It's a small town. His dad was driving an auto rickshaw, and uh, on the first day in the class, this guy was. He did very well in his assessments. Everything was very good on paper. He came first day. We asked like in the class, he went blank. He because he saw so many people, such bigger office, he got overwhelmed, right? But one thing was sure that this guy has the potential. Now this happened like a year ago. We did the training, he scaled up. It took him time. He eventually went to a analytics company, not a Fortune 500 company, an analytics company, top analytics company. And today he's a project manager. He's presenting to Fortune 100 companies, to be companies in like their counterparts in Germany. He's the team lead, and most of his job is speaking now. And 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago, you couldn't even imagine him speaking more than his name. So I think it took time. It did not happen overnight. It did not happen in 2 months also, being very honest. But because we invested at the right time, because that guy put the hard work and the company gave him the right environment, today we are seeing that guy becoming one of the fastest team leaders, one of the fastest project managers.
That was really great and inspiring at the same time. That yes, it's not just about like you have to upskill, but yes, sometimes you just have to have the faith and the best company to help you in work. That's really great. But like right now, as we know that there is recession which is going on, and we thought that it's done, but no, still it is somewhere or the other way it's going on. So, like how is it that recession? How that recession is impacting in a wrong way to these talent pools? Because right now, how their mindset would be. So, would love to know some insights from you regarding this.
Sure. So I think what happens with the recession is that let's first understand what is recession, why are the layoffs happening, right? So the way it works is when the Fed, that the American Federal Reserve, when they increase the interest rates, what happens is that cost of borrowing becomes expensive. And the way any company is valued is using a DCF, discounted cash flow. So what happens is that for a company, the way they derive a value of that company is a sum of its future cash flows, future profits, right? So now what happens is once the interest rates becomes expensive, the present value of those future cash flows goes down. So I'll give you an example, right? Let's say the current value. So let's say if I say I will earn 100 crores in 10 years, and let's say the interest rate is zero, so the present value of the 100 crores would be 100 crores because there is no opportunity cost of money. But what if I tell you that the interest rate is 3%? So the present value of that 100 crores would be 65 crores or 70 crores. So what happens for companies is when the interest rate goes up, they cannot invest in ventures that will give them profits later. They want ventures that give them immediate profits. So all the big companies, all the projects that are long-term projects, very long-term, that will give them results in 8, 9 years, they start cutting those projects off. And that's where we see a lot of layoffs happening. But the good thing is, as a country, our talent is very affordable as opposed to talent around the world. So even though we are looking at layoffs happening, we are very bullish on the growth story India has. And what we believe is, especially in analytics, if our talent knows the right skills, there are plenty of jobs, because as a country we are very well positioned from a cost arbitrage viewpoint, from an English speaking viewpoint, that we can take a lot of outsourcing work from across the world.
That's so true. Like, yes, this is the thing that we also need to understand. Right now, people are taking the recession in a very negative manner. They don't know why it's happening and they have that fear. So, what do you think? Does this recession is affecting the talent? The young talent, the beginners who are just stepping into the industry, are they nervous that what's going to happen with them? Is it so?
I think I think this recession is affecting their mental health more than anything else. Right, they are getting a bit demotivated. And what was happening in the last 2, 3 years was that companies were hiring left, right. So a lot of talent that was not that equipped also got very high packages, and now they are getting laid off. So I would say that things will never go like this. And if something is, if you realize that you are getting paid for more than what you are given to the company, the error will correct itself. So my recommendation to the talent is, if you keep on investing in yourself, keep on building yourself, there are ample of opportunities, a lot of money to be made. If you are sitting idle in your house, just reading the paper or reading some random article, then yeah, obviously you will start thinking negatively. But the focus should be on building yourself, because the country where you are born, it is now in the golden era. It's the next 10, 15 years are for India. So if you are here, if you are in tech, there is no way in the world you will have a problem in terms of a career. But yeah, definitely don't take it personally. If layoffs are happening, if you are seeing that you might need to go for a lower salary, be it. Just keep working, keep improving.
Exactly, that was so true. And as you're talking about talents, though, there's one thing that right now I see that people are like, okay, we just want to get the job, but they are not at all working on their skills. So,
Right.
with that, I have one thing that, do you think that the demand should shift, and also the focus should shift from hiring to actually upgrading the talent first?
I think that's something which companies have already been doing. It's
Okay.
been a couple of years, because it's much better to upskill existing workers than hire replacements, because the existing workers know are integrated in the company, in the culture, in the system. So companies are already focusing on that. But definitely the requirements, the in tech, in analytics, are so much that you will need to hire from outside. And there are certain skills that you will need a fresh mind. But it's a combination. Definitely upskilling in the organization has been happening, and it will continue to happen.
That's really great. And also, before concluding the podcast, there's one question, that any advice that you have for the beginners who are still in their initial stages and have the fear to come up.
So my only piece of advice is that uh, just just work on your skills, right? At the end of the day, your hard skills will matter. Everything else is just, is not that relevant as you might think it is. And one thing that we are seeing is, the country we are in, we all are going to go up, especially if you are in tech. So everyone wins. Just keep building your skills. there are multiple ways you do it, right? Futurense is not the only way. There are multiple ways you can do that. Just build your skills. Sky is the limit.
That was really great and fabulous at the same time. Thank you so much, Raghav, for putting your amazing insights in this podcast. And also, I have added Raghav's socials in the description below. You can have a look into it, and also don't forget to connect with him to get the best uh, technology and talent advices. With that note, thank you so much, Raghav, for joining in. It was really great having you for the today's podcast.
Thank you, Chavi. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. And for the viewers, stay tuned for our amazing podcast. Till then, have a good day. Bye bye.